Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about PlayStation 4 emulation with Shad PS4, and Shad PS4 just got a brand new update. Now, we've been talking about Shad PS4 in previous videos, whether it's gameplay improvements, new features, bug fixes, or even more. And all of this is now in the mainline version. So at the time of filming, Shad PS4 version 0.3.0 is the latest update. And as for what's new here, there's cheat and patching support, DLC support, new translation support, so 26 new languages. This one is a big one, support for unlocking trophies. There's also support for more controllers, the DualShock and Xbox controllers. Many GUI improvements, AV player, and even more. Now, on a side note here, it's worth pointing out that saves are not directly compatible with this update, so if someone using an older version of Shad PS4 has some saves, they may need to follow a process here to make sure that everything's okay. Shad PS4 keeps improving in leaps and bounds. I mean, even the screenshot here for Bloodborne is outdated because now the colors are better. They've got a compatibility tracker right on their GitHub page, and I do recommend checking it out so you can see what works with Shad PS4 and what doesn't. And speaking about improvements, next up we're talking about Street Fighter 6, and this is a friendly heads up that Terry Bogard is now available in the game. He is DLC, and I'm very excited that he's part of the game and something I'm going to be checking out very soon. Let me know your thoughts about Terry Bogard in Street Fighter 6 in the comments below. And speaking about Capcom, next up we're talking about Capcom, and it appears that Capcom is listening to players here and asking them if they want more Deluxe remasters. Included in those are games like Lost Planet, Devil May Cry, Power Stone, Resident Evil, Onimusha, Darkstalkers, and Okami. And if you are interested in this, they have a survey up. So the survey is active between now and October 18th, and if you complete it, you get a free digital wallpaper, as well as possibly a say in whatever the next remaster is going to be. I think this is very important, and I'm really hoping that Capcom listens and prioritizes things here and makes more remasters. Now, if you've taken this survey, let me know your choices in the comments below for what you'd like to see a remaster of or a remake of. I mean, there's a lot of great series here from Capcom, and I'm hoping that they listen and do a good job with remasters. I mean, on Steam right now, Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster has an overall very positive review score, and I know some people really like it and some people don't. They prefer the originals. Let me know your thoughts about this remaster in the comments below as well. And do you think other remasters should stay true to the original game? Should they make tweaks? And what should be done here? I mean, I'm all up for a remaster if they do a very good job of it as opposed to a half-baked sequel. I might be in the minority here though. Next up, we're talking about the new Nintendo Switch 2, and someone with a very keen eye has spotted something that might be a brand new peripheral for the console. And they spotted it because Nintendo filed a device with the FCC. So they say here the model number is CL0001, which doesn't really mean anything here, and listed as a wireless device, not a game console or controller. It's got no battery, but it can be plugged in via USB-C, and it's also got 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Some people are thinking it might be a camera. Now, in my opinion, this new peripheral is going to be significant in some way, shape, or form because Nintendo did request for short-term confidentiality. So we're not going to see external photos, internal photos, test setup photos, or a user manual anytime soon, unless something else leaks. What are your thoughts on this new peripheral? What do you think it's going to be? Let me know in the comments below. I am certain we're going to hear more rumors about this in the near future, and even in the far future. And speaking about confidentiality, next up we're talking about Telegram, and it appears that Telegram is changing in a very significant way. They have finally agreed to share user data with authorities. Now, reportedly, this has been confirmed by the CEO of Telegram, and I guess the platform moving forward will provide IP addresses and phone numbers in response to legal requests. So if you're doing something not quite legal on Telegram, you may have something to worry about here. Now, like everything I talk about, the link will be in the description below right at the bottom. My news is completely open source. And to be honest with you, I think this is really going to impact the overall popularity and usage of Telegram. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. Next up, we're talking about Atari, and this one's a very weird one. It appears that Atari is now making hot sauces, and they're all themed based on Atari games. These are all selling for about $7 each, and I was taking a look at them and wasn't really able to make any correlation between the game and the flavor of the hot sauce, but they are available on September 30th. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Would you be interested in Atari hot sauce? Next up, we're talking about YouTube Premium. Now, one of the things I like about YouTube Premium is the fact that with that service, you don't get ads and you can download videos. Although there may be some other services that try to do the same thing that don't cost you anything. Anyways, YouTube Premium is getting a big price hike in different areas, up to 50% more. Now, this article says that YouTube is now going to be more expensive than its competitors, Spotify and Apple Music in certain areas. The prices go into effect in November. I don't necessarily think comparing YouTube Premium directly with Spotify or Apple Music is necessarily one for one here. But at the same time, these price hikes are no surprise given the fact that everything these days seems to be getting more and more expensive. And speaking about Apple and expensive, next up here we're talking about something that's 100% free, and that's Delta, one of the most, if not the most popular over on iOS. And Delta is getting a very big update in the near future regarding NetPlay. So it appears that Delta is going to be getting online multiplayer for Nintendo DS emulation, and it's based on Melon DS. Now, I'm not certain if this is just going to come to the alt store or also be available on the App Store, but it is one to pay attention to if you like Delta and you've got an iPhone. Next up, we're talking about something that could have some pretty big impacts, pretty big negative impacts on the retro game collecting scene. If you collect games for the PlayStation 1, you may want to pay attention to this. It appears that counterfeits are getting so good that they're being mistaken for the original, and they're nearly indistinguishable. So Voltaire here, who is well known in the retro game scene, who is well known in the modding scene, says there has been a surge of PS1 counterfeits on markets such as AliExpress. These counterfeit PS1 titles are being pressed onto a dark substrate, which makes these counterfeits visually indistinguishable from the real deal. Now, as a retro game collector, I would say that seeing repro game cartridges in the wild is not something that's new. They're pretty prevalent. There's a lot of them out there. And normally they go for a lot cheaper than the originals, and maybe some people use those ways to pick up some games if they don't really care about collecting, but more or less just want the game. Anyways, looking at these prices here, and those are not fair prices for repros in my opinion. I mean, in fairness here, if you take a look at the price of something like Persona for PS1 on eBay, you're going to be paying a couple of $100 for it. And $18 here may not seem like a whole lot in comparison, but this is essentially just an ISO burned onto a disc with the official artwork that's been downloaded from the internet, and the overall price here should be nowhere near $18. You can probably see the problem here. I mean, if someone's just wanting the game to look like the original, they don't really care and they just want to play it on their own PlayStation. Well, this doesn't impact the market too much. However, it's for the people who buy these things and then try to pass them off as the real deal and then sell them for those crazy prices and make quite a bit, and then the person buying it could get a fake and not realize it, considering they are indistinguishable from the real deal. Now, on one hand here, I can kind of see why people would be attracted to these prices. I mean, I couldn't justify paying a couple of $100 to pick up Persona. But on the other hand here, I have a feeling that some innocent people are going to get hosed when it comes to buying these games, thinking they're picking up something that's the real deal, and paying a crazy fee for a complete fake. But let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Right now, I think the retro gaming industry is crazy and things are way overpriced, and it's super inaccessible for people just trying to pick up a new hobby. It seems that profits and people trying to make money off retro stuff is taking over the entire thing. Anyways, here I could be wrong, maybe I'm off base, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And speaking about collecting and prices, next up here we're talking about something that may end up as a collectible as it may end up changing its name. And that's Stellar Blade. There's a lawsuit right now against PlayStation and Shift Up over the Stellar Blade name. And if they lose, then they may have to change the name of the game. I'm not joking with you. So from my understanding, before the release of the Stellar Blade game, there is a company called Stellar Blade in operation since 2010, and it's a film production company. And apparently the Stellar Blade game has taken attention away from the Stellar Blade company, and people are having trouble now finding the actual company because all of the game stuff comes up. So the request here from the people behind the Stellar Blade company is asking for Shift Up and Sony to be prevented from using Stellar Blade or any name similar to it, as well as asking they hand over all materials in their possession with Stellar Blade on them, so that the Stellar Blade company can destroy them. Now, I'm not going to lie here. I am very curious to see how this one pans out, because in my opinion, if the shoe is on the other foot and this company was defending themselves against, well, Sony and Shift Up, I think that they wouldn't stand a chance in court because Sony has a whole lot of money. And now that Sony is defending themselves, I'm curious to see if these guys can beat Sony or if they can't. Let me know your thoughts about this whole thing in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen with the Stellar Blade name? Next up, if you've got a whole bunch of money burning a hole in your pocket and you wanted to buy a PS5 Pro, or rather a chance to buy a limited 30th edition PS5 Pro, then you may be interested in this. Apparently, they are selling attempts to buy the PS5 Pro for about $10,000 each. However, I've found an even better deal, one for half the price here at $5,000 for an attempt to purchase a PS5 Pro 30th anniversary bundle. Now, I really wish I was joking with you here, but I am not. And it says here under the description, you are purchasing my services to attempt to purchase a PS5 Pro 30th anniversary on your behalf. The cost covers the purchase of the console itself, as well as the diligence and time it will take to score this system bundle. If a system cannot be scored, you will not be refunded. All sales final. Now, in my opinion, this would be a perfect opportunity for the seller just to not even attempt to pick up a PS5 Pro and just say, you know what, I wasn't able to secure one, thanks for the money. And that would be okay based on the description. Let me know your thoughts about this. This is absolutely ridiculous, and I think like 11 people are currently watching this. I don't know what's going on anymore. However, what I do know, or rather what I suspect here, is that the secondary market for these limited edition PS5 Pros is going to be absolutely crazy. I mean, if people are willing to spend $5,000, $10,000 for an attempt to buy the console, imagine how much they're going to mark that up to sell it if they actually get one. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. I've been asking for a lot of comments, but I do go through and I do read them. I do learn some stuff sometimes, and it's very interesting to see everyone's opinion. Anyways, if you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.